Hello ladies and gentlemen and any aliens that may be tuning into this episode, and welcome to the Liverpool Retro Gamer Show. And also, Happy New Year, I hope you all had an amazing time. Now, with a new year brings a new endeavour, and I thought we'd properly go into an actual game review. Now, a running theme of this show has been the NES Mini and the Snes Mini, so I thought we'd look into this. And when I say into this, I mean into these. Into the NES Mini and the Snes Mini. Two great pieces for the collection, and two I've been very lucky to actually get hold of. And anyone who's still trying to get hold of one, good luck. I really hope you get it. Nintendo are meant to bring them out soon. Hopefully this video will help you along, give you a bit more excitement for that. Now, more about the video itself. It's not going to be a retrospective, look back at the consoles, my history of them and all that. I might mention it a little bit, but that's not the intended goal of the video itself. We're just going to compare what you get with each system and see, both the positives and the negatives that they've done and what they've learned from them. Because they've pretty much done these both back to back, and maybe I'll talk about the possibility of a Nintendo 64 Mini as well. That could be brilliant. I'm really looking forward to, if they ever do it, a GameCube Mini. Now that would be amazing. Anyway, here we go. Here we have the NES Mini and the SNES Mini side by side. They look an awful lot bigger here than what they do in real life. Well, they're miniature boxes, aren't they? A closer look at the NES Mini box now, which is the first console we're going to start with. Is a selection of games on the back. There's so many classics, it's just 100% worth the value for money just looking at that alone. So here's the hardware. A good depth of scale is that those Sonic figures in the background, about the size of my thumb, is about just as tall as this NES Mini, so it's tiny. I'm going to show you these mini consoles' two inputs now. Firstly, it has a HDMI, which is perfect for the modern age and televisions, and then it has a USB AC out, which you can either use for a USB wall input or for laptops or any type of USB device. The elephant in the room is the length of the controller wire. It's simply not big enough for the modern age. Here's an example. It's about the length of one of my shelves, which may seem big, but that's not even as big as the length of my arm. Seriously, this is a huge negative for this console. Well, that's pretty much all I've got to say about the hardware itself. It's about time we look at the software. Let there be light, and let there be games. This is the menu, and the first thing you see when you power up the NES Mini. It's quite simplistic, but I feel like it does the job perfectly, and just listen to that music as well. You can't go wrong with that. It's perfect for any content creator, and it's got a really good feel-good vibe to it as well. Luigi there has just hit the block and transitioned us into the screensaver or homage to one of the most notable characters on the NES. This is such a lovely touch for the console, and it's something that I haven't as of yet been able to find on the SNES Mini. I don't know why they decided not to go with this, so it is a bit of a knock on that system, but with this I think it's brilliant, and it shows they put a lot of love into this console. Here's the library. Whether it's Final Fantasy, Castlevania, Mario or Metroid, there's something here for everyone, and it gives you a real taste of the NES's legacy. Let's get stuck into some games, and what better way to start than The Legend of Zelda, probably the best game on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Look at that image and listen to that music. I can almost guarantee you're never going to get it to look that good on a HD television nowadays. This is the best thing about the NES Mini, is it just makes these old games look perfect. My own NES I have just never even works, so this is perfect for me. And here we are in the game itself. It just looks absolutely spot on. Here's the classic moment. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Believe it or not, I've never even completed the original Legend of Zelda. I don't really know the reason why. I've just never put my time into it or got stuck into it. I always get so far and then I just seem to get lost, and then I never go back to it. Speaking of getting lost, the NES Mini offers all the original manuals for these games, which for someone who's never played them before, especially the way games are nowadays, you don't even get anything with it. They might not even know that it came with a manual, so this is a great touch and one of the best things about the console in my opinion. The other setting that you have is the option between CRT, Full Free and Pixel Perfect. I'm going to show you an example of Pixel Perfect now on Castlevania. Now let's just take a minute to appreciate this intro. Now that is cool. What an amazing game this is. On the right side of the screen you're going to see Pixel Perfect, and on the left you're going to see CRT. Now you can see the difference between the two straight away. CRT emulates the old school tellies really well, and I prefer this because it's what I originally had, and I can't really play without it, to be honest. Let's look at the built-in save option on the NES Mini. So you're kicking back playing Gallagher, and then the impossible happens, your ship gets destroyed. woe is me. So you click the reset button on the console itself and it comes up with this drop down box. You click down and hold A and then you save your data to that point. This brings up a problem though with this method. So next time you play and the impossible again, you get destroyed, you'll see this one more time. The same drop down box. So you click down, it comes up with this, but to use your old save you click start, but you instinctively click A, which is save, and this happens, you save over your old data. This can be a nightmare when playing an RPG. Overall, I'd give the NES Mini a 9 out of 10. This is due to the short controller wire length, the save problem I encountered, and the marketing from Nintendo. People should be able to buy this console if they want to. Also, a personal knock on it is it hasn't got enough RPGs. I'd love to see Dragon Warrior on this as well, but Final Fantasy will definitely do. It's one of the best games this generation, and I'm so happy people get to play that for the first time. The other big positive is that all these games work consistently and look amazing. I was going to sell all my NES stuff to get one of these, and I used to work in a retro game shop where I encountered broken NESs constantly. Thank you so much for getting me this, Catherine. It means the world to me. Let's move over now to the successor of the NES, the Super Nintendo. This console boasted a lot of improvements over its predecessor, but will its mini counterpart be able to say the same? All these shots, by the way, are featuring Barnaby the cat in the background who just would not get out of shot. I can tell you right now that the first improvement they made is the length of the controller wire, which you mentioned earlier was a big problem with the NES. If we do the odd shelf test here, you can see that it's literally twice as long as the other one. This is an A star for the SNES, well done. The SNES Mini now goes 2 steps forward and 1 step back with this whole controller port flap thing. I think this looks really silly, and I don't know if this is bugging anyone else, but for me, I just think this looks really cheap and I can see it being a problem with it snapping off in future. I wish Nintendo just made the console a bit bigger like the NES Mini is. Now the console's powered up, we're brought to the menu screen. It's a tough task to weigh up the positives and negatives between the NES and SNES Mini. The NES Mini just had a blue background, whereas the SNES Mini has this rolling Super Famicom design, and with the selection of games there as well, it all makes it all so appealing to look at. In contrast though, the NES Mini did have the screensaver, which was a homage towards best characters, and something that the SNES Mini would really benefit from as well. It showed that a lot of love had went into the system. However, another positive for the SNES Mini is somehow the music is even better on the menu screen. Listen to this, it's just so catchy and even better for a content creator. I love it. Here's the library, and what a stellar lineup this is. Such an improvement over the NES Mini selections, and it's got all the classic games for the SNES. Personally, I would like to see Chrono Trigger or Mario All-Stars, but realistically this is pretty much the perfect selection. Speaking of classic games, let's give you an example of how to play them. You click A, and instantly the game appears and looks completely clear. What an example Super Mario Kart is here, the best multiplayer game, a future review, and one which has a special place in my heart. Just like the NES Mini, the SNES Mini offers you CRT and pixel perfect filters. I'm going to give you an example here with Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So with the NES Mini, I think the pixel perfect looks just too good and too obvious at times, and you can notice with the fire and stuff like that, it just didn't mold as well as it did with the CRT. However, on the SNES, it actually doesn't look quite as noticeable, and to be honest, it looks pretty good. I'm still going to play with the CRT, but I imagine a lot of new players will play with Pixel Perfect. It's down to personal preference. Also, this is a great example of me whooping Dalsim's arse on Street Fighter. Look at the state of him, lad. He's not getting up. Perfect. A new display option on a SNES Mini are these different frames you can have around the game that you're playing at the time. There's a lot of different ones, but I've went with this wood effect for the example of F-Zero I'm showing you. Now, it's a strange thing because when you're seeing it in person, honestly, it really reminds me of the Nintendo DS, and that's the thing about Nintendo, all the products seem to link together in some way or another. Remember saving on the NES? Well, it seems Nintendo saw the problem with that and they've made a big improvement upon it. Now when you click down to save, the button you hold is actually Y, which is opposite to the instinctive A, leaving you with a lot less chance for error. This is great. Earlier I spoke about the passion that went into the release of these two consoles, and this to me is a real love letter to the fans, an official release of a new Super Nintendo game, Star Wing 2, a game which is so far ahead in development that it was just shy of being released on cartridge. However, now we actually get it officially from Nintendo, and I'd love to see something like this on the N64 Mini, maybe the early dev of Final Fantasy VII or something like that. I mean, that would be amazing. Overall, the SNES Mini is a complete 10 out of 10 for me. Any flaw of the NES Mini I feel has been improved upon here, and I also feel that the library of games and my nostalgia towards them just overpowers any flaw the SNES Mini may have as well. I mean, this is a special machine and basically one that I've dreamed of coming out. I feel like I'm blessed to be in this era. Earthbound, Mario RPG, Starwing 2, the repro for these cost more than the price of the release, so in terms of value for money, this is the perfect package. Newer players may feel that the fact there's no reset button on the pad itself is actually a flaw, but realistically it's supposed to be emulating the old consoles and there's no reset button on them, so for me this is totally fine. The real elephant in the room is the marketing and the limited release of the NES and SNES Mini by Nintendo. These could and should have been the #1 sellers over Christmas, but unfortunately a lot of people are still struggling to get a hold of them, and all I can say is I wish them all the very best from the bottom of my heart, and I hope that you get to experience these amazing machines like I have. Well, I guess that's the video and this is the outro. Anyone who was looking for an in-depth look at all the specifications for the hardware and all that type of stuff, this may not have been the video for you, to be honest. This was more just for casual consumers and avid collectors, so I hope that anyone who's came and watched this video for that purpose has got, everything that they want out of it, and I hope it swayed your decision making in one way or another. Myself, I would have to say these are 100% worth getting. They've never ever looked better on a modern TV, and the fact you can change between CRT and all that type of stuff, it just gives you a lot of options that you don't get. It really reminds me of the Game Boy player. Genuinely, all the different options that you got, for the borders and all that type of stuff. So it's back to Nintendo. They always look back at the previous products and they never really let go of an idea. They keep it going, and that's also true in the fact that they've even done these 2 releases. I mean, personally, I love the Super Nintendo the most because that's my second favourite console of all time, so I'm going to be a little bit biased, but I've been pleasantly surprised how much I've loved playing the NES, especially Castlevania. I just can't get enough of that. It's such a great game, and highly recommend getting hold of it. Even if you just play a ROM or something, just go for it. I have a feeling that a few people are going to be asking me what my thoughts are on hacking these 2 machines, and the only reason I'd ever go into that is to get Japanese games that have been translated to English that never came out over here. I mean, that would be something amazing. You could get Secret of Mana 3, for instance. That's one I'd really love to play, and I think I'd do the same for the NES. I mean, I know there's a few Transformers games and stuff like that that never came out, so I'd like to see that. I'm a big Transformers fan. Other than that, all I can say about hacking hardware and stuff like that, I'm never a big fan of getting every single game on a console or that ever came out in its lifespan, because I think you're spoiled for choice. And I've had those situations before, those cheap, £10, 1,000 games on one things, and you just end up going through it one by one, and you never even choose anything. So I think the max I'd ever get is maybe like 10 games. If you ever do something like that, I'll let you know. But also, in the console itself, if you ever mess up, it has the opportunity, it gives you the opportunity to reset the console back to factory settings, and that's brilliant. And also, if you're ever selling it, in the future, which I don't know why you would, but if you ever are, it might not be the best idea to give someone all this extra stuff that they might not want. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about these 2 consoles. So, I love them, I'm very grateful. Thank you so much, Catherine, and thank you so much, Catherine, again, for helping me film the first video that I did, or the first episode that I did, because without that, I wouldn't have, got the drive to keep making these videos. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.